Welcome to the Self Reality Podcast, a show where we like to talk all things reality TV, the good, the bad, the ridiculous. I'm your host, Angie, and I'm here today with a special guest host, my brother, amazing podcaster, Nick Hanlon. Welcome.
Hi.
And if you've been watching, you'll know Nick and I are here today to talk about Survivor Season 48 finale. I cheer, but
Finally, finale.
finally, finale. But before we
I
get
mean, they
into the
call this episode the finally
finally finale is a good name for it because what a long season, and not
was a
in a good way.
dredge.
Not in a good way. We made it. But before we get going, please be sure to like and subscribe here. I'm going to start coming out with some more content about different shows. Nick and I will do some recaps. Plus, I've started talking about Love on the Spectrum. I just need to edit and drop them. So please be sure to like, subscribe, tell me what you want me to recap and talk about. And while you're at it, head on over on YouTube channel or Spotify or Apple Podcasts to Kayfabe Wrestling Talk with handsome Nick Hanlon, the way wrestling should be talked about, and his colleague Matthew Barnaby. And also go check out Nick's other podcast, the Dirty Glass Podcast, Booze Reviews for the Unrefined, where him and Dennis like to rate all the things and talk all the shit. So go check those out.
Let's go.
So with that all said, let's get into it. Last week, I didn't drop it because the sound was horrendous. So this week we'll for sure drop this one because I have a wonderful new headset. And so last week, Shaheen was voted out in one of the only blind sides of this season, if memory serves. Maybe in the first half there were some blind sides, but gotta tell you, one of the most boring blind sides I've ever seen.
It was a good plan, but it was still everybody's so happy. I don't know.
Problem I find is like the tribal is just so boring. You've said this multiple times, and I think I'd like to reiterate. Tribal is like political. It's just speaking points.
Yeah, there's
They
nothing.
talk in riddles. You know what I
They
mean?
never,
And
not
it's
one episode did they stop and like whisper stuff to each other and get up
we
and do all that stuff.
nothing I love more than everybody getting up in the middle of tribal and yabba 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 dabba do, right? Like talking. And I miss it. Hi Brucey. I miss that so much. And like, or at a minimum, like get into a bit of a debate. Like, I mean, an actual real discussion instead of loyalty and trust and, sad stories. So anyway, that's last week. So the aftermath of this, well, first it starts with Jeff trying to sell it. It's been
Yeah,
an emotional year. Okay. I don't know if it's any more emotional, in my opinion, than any other year. I think it's more boring. I think it's more
it
the
was
same
almost watching
people.
a camping trip for 3 months.
That's a good analogy. Yeah, like just a happy camping trip where they don't have tons of food.
Yeah,
That
and
they
nothing
get to
really
go and
happens.
right. So the aftermath is, Kyle's happy he made it. Who has some suspicions about like whether or not Shaheen was actually like that whole plan to get rid of Shaheen. It's a good plan. Eva thinks it's right, and Camilla is the only one of any interest left for me. Kyle a little bit, but Camilla more so because she's just been on the outs for so long. And she's like, I've been lying and I'll own it if I make it to the end. So this should be an exciting episode because we've got 2 immunity challenges, we've got final tribal, we got a fire making, and it couldn't have been more boring in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't the best final.
It's one of the, I don't know if it's a worst. I think it might be the worst. I think this might go down as the worst season for me. But again, maybe it's just the time. Sorry, times are changing. Maybe I'm just not with the like nice, I don't know, whatever version of everything. But anyway,
All the dogs want it.
so now we get back and we're at camp and they do that advantage puzzle. Like they have to run around and
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
figure out
that,
the puzzle.
figure out the puzzle.
It's kind of neat.
It was a cool puzzle. I mean, listen, like they've done some interesting challenges, but like ultimately, Eva wins, so she gets an
Again.
advantage in immunity. Okay. So I'm like, okay, like, and immunity is one of these. So we go to immunity, first immunity challenge. It's one of these long-winded crawl through mud, that like twisted mud net. And what else do they have to? I don't know. They have to they have to get that ball through the thing and then throw
climb up
it.
a net, go through a net, get ball, put it through tunnel, and get all beanbags out. Throw beanbags, get a key. Key opens puzzle. Do puzzle. Like even Larry's bored.
Nick theorized that there was a sale on netting this year because they've done a
There's a lot of
lot
netting
of
stuff.
net stuff. But this one, I think the only takeaway, the most interesting thing for me was that Joe was in first place. Camilla almost didn't think she was going to make it through the net, the first net. Like that was crazy. And then Camilla turns around and at the
I thought she
puzzle,
was gonna die.
she wins. It was pretty rough. Like that net and mud and stuff. And Jeff was even yelling at her. She got sassy. She got a little sassy pants with Jeff even. So that was pretty cool.
There is enough water in there to die.
Could be, but I'm glad she didn't die.
I didn't want her to die, but I was thinking like you get caught in that net. Remember that crazy broad a few seasons ago got her hair caught in that net. I don't think they had that much water in it.
It was pretty bad.
She almost got trapped. Anyway, she got out.
Got out and she wins.
She won the immunity.
Then
Yeah.
there's a reward for pasta, and who does she take? Eva. I don't understand why they are fueling Joe and Eva every friggin' reward challenge. Like I don't understand that thinking. Fine. In the beginning, if you want to make friends or make it look like this, that, and the other, but like, don't you want to have an advantage? I mean, Joe and Eva, I mean, Camilla actually ends up doing pretty good, but like, they are just monsters at challenges.
Never hungry.
They're hungry. Only Mitch and Camilla are hungry. So they go, I think she should have taken Mitch. That's my opinion. I think it's the end. Take Mitch. Go for it.
Yeah, get Joe or Eva out.
Exactly. But she takes Eva. Okay, fine. Why do you think she took Eva?
She didn't give a reason. I don't know. Do they just feel bad for her because she's young and autistic? Like, I can't think of any other reason. Yeah, like I can't really think of any other reason.
I was thinking that too. Is it because she's young and kind of she has a vulnerability, right? Especially due to her youth. But and yeah, she's neurodivergent and has autism. So it's like, is that it? That doesn't make sense to me. But
I hope that's not the reason because it's insulting to her. But she took it.
So too, maybe it's that I don't know. Maybe she didn't want to show she's buddies with Kyle. Like take Kyle even, you know. But she's already planning on getting rid of Kyle. So if she goes through, so we're at camp, and then it's just Love Fest Arama still. Like we're at the end.
Well, then they went and told Mitch they're going to vote him out.
Well, so then that just makes it boring. So there's not really any real conversations. It's like Mitch.
He's just joking around about it.
What bothers me with Mitch, and I like Mitch, but it's like he kept saying every week, it was like, especially since the merge, I got to make a move. I got to make a move. And then, not this week. This isn't the right week. What is the right week, Mitch? Like, what's the right week? Now here we're at the end and, you know, you're in tears and I like you, but I don't have that much sympathy for you because you've made 0 moves. 0 moves. Okay, I'm ranting now. Back when Star was still there, Star and Mary were still there when they were trying to, and Camilla too, though. I'm disappointed because Camilla, she should have banded together with them because ultimately I know Kyle was paired up with her, but ultimately he didn't stick with her right till the end.
No.
So anyway,
he would have done something. I mean, if I was Mitch, I would have been saying to tribal council, listen, I'm voting for Joe.
Tribal. That's I have so few notes.
Like, I'm voting for Joe. Whoever wants to vote with me, let's go. Maybe I'll vote Eva. I don't know, but let's talk. You know, maybe they should have done some whispering. He should have been like, anybody
hey
want to jump on board? Anybody want to have a conversation? I'm gonna go stand over here. Now. Get up, stand over here. Let's have a conversation. Anybody who wants to mess around with stuff.
Thinking about
I would have been saying some stuff. I mean, I would have done this a long time ago too. Like,
I would have.
I mean, I guess Mitch was safe, so he just felt safe, so he just figured he'd make it through. But he's always on the bottom of that little thing.
He must.
I don't know if he thought he was, but
don't you think if you just kind of step back and look at it, he would have seen he's not the top. He wasn't even the top 4 of that group. Like the top 4 of that group was it went Joe, Eva, Shaheen, and then Kyle was 4
for a long time. Yeah,
Mitch honestly wasn't even really part of it. They just pulled him along because they like him. He was a number. Like he was never even part of their alliance.
Yeah, like Camilla, who's just a number.
Camilla knew it though. That's the difference. Camilla knew she wasn't part of it. Kyle was part of it. My problem is like, play the game, you guys. Like it just anyway. So yeah, Mitch is going home. We go to tribal. I wrote down here. Mitch basically has given, in my opinion, he gave up and says nothing. He gave up
3 episodes ago.
And the person who Mitch puts a vote toward was Kyle. That's it. So we got our final 4. Aftermath. The only word I have for aftermath is hugs.
Yeah, don't they get like a meal they eat, or is that final 3? Oh, that's final 4.
Yeah, they have a meal. I don't even know if I wrote it down. They watch the sunrise again. this is where Camilla tells Kyle she wouldn't take him, and Kyle's like, phew, I wouldn't take you too. So now I'm already like bummed, right? And then we go to the final, like, and there's really nothing going on at camp. Can you imagine? They're there 24/7 and they have no content.
No.
That's like,
Even
anyway.
the last few days, like you'd think that would be the hottest, but it was not.
Crazy talk. So we get to the challenge. It's an iconic one. It's that, I don't know what they call it, but it's the metal track where you have to drop a ball in the top and it goes through the track and it switches where it's going to come out each time, and you have to keep adding balls to the track.
It's an exciting one.
I really like that one, and I would argue, the most interesting part of the episode. There's a couple little blips in Final Tribal that I thought are semi interesting. So first one to drop, Eva, and she melts it, like she's bawling, like she's like devastated. Camilla, Joe, Kyle wins. So now we watched this together. I was like, okay, well, now we know who's at, he's like, I'm going to take Joe. Move to take Joe. It's a smart move that he took Joe. Well,
I guess it was. I don't know.
Hint.
I probably would have been like, I would have put Joe against Eva, but
I think
he didn't want to bring Camilla, right? So
yeah, and I do get the reasoning.
So maybe I would have made the wrong decision.
I think Camilla would have had a chance against him. I think she was the only one who would have had a chance. Aftermath, there's not a big aftermath. Like Kyle's like, I'm going to take you, Joe. He tells Eva, he tells Camilla. So now we spend the rest of this portion of the episode practicing fire. Of note, Camilla struggles, Eva really struggles, and Eva has basically an episode to the point where Joe offered to her, because she like completely melted down, and Joe offered to do fire for her. What I respect is that she said, no way, I have to do this. And I really, really respect that about Eva. Like, I can do this, let me do this. So
as vulnerable as she might be, I mean, she's got a lot of accolades in the education world, which means she don't give up.
Exactly. And she's vulnerable, but she's also really smart and very strong. Okay, so anyway, ends up being we're at fire now. So we go to final. They do the final fire challenge. I hate to say this, but I've never seen something quite as just lopsided and pretty boring. There was one moment like Eva decimates Camilla. I think Camilla gets one flame at one point. Eva has a little bit of an episode because like her stuff goes out and she kind of panics. They all talk her through it. So, it's nice.
Including Camilla.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? Like the level of niceness? Do you think it's like warranted? Do you think it's good to do that as a human being? Or do you just think like, hey man, it's $1 million. It's the end of the game?
I think casting needs to work on their casting.
Get right down to the crux of it. Yes, I would agree.
I wouldn't have helped, but if I was sitting beside her, I'd be focusing on me because if I was her, I wasn't doing well. So
you'd want
to, hey, you got it, girl. No. I don't know if I would have been like, you're screwed. I don't know if I would have went that far, but I wouldn't.
I'd probably be trying to just hustle and get mine done. What I have a problem with is not a single person helped Camilla.
Yeah.
No one said.
She's a human too.
Exactly. Like, and she's had struggles and she has her issues and she's been vulnerable. Anyway, Eva wins, surprise, surprise. Then they do what I call the reservoir dog walk, and then the only notable thing left at the camp is that Eva first admits to being a PhD student. No, Kyle first admits to being a lawyer. Joe's shocked. And then Eva admits to being a PhD student or fellow or whatever it is. And I find it interesting that Joe didn't have a problem with the lie, since it's all about truth, right? Like, I thought this was all about honesty and truth, and like, because those three have been together since the merge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I have a problem with that whole thing, because it's just right. It's like when it's convenient.
He blindsided Camille too, so
true. That's true. Well, exactly.
Like he wasn't as honest as I don't know. Is he losing sleep over that? I'm not sure.
Well, I don't think Kyle isn't as much loyal, honest. I think he got a little too emotionally attached to Joe. And I think that prevented him. But again, as we know, it didn't work out too badly for him. So Final Tribal, what were you hoping for at Final Tribal, and what happened?
I mean, I was hoping for at least Superman to be mad. Nobody had any bitterness. I mean, Christine, was that her name?
He got a little bit,
but there wasn't a lot of visceral. There wasn't a lot of hard-hitting questions. It was a job interview.
Literally the first question from Cedric, what is your weakness? Cedric, literally starts with an actual interview question. What is your weakness? I was irritated. Joe's like, wear my emotions on my sleeve. And it's like, oh my God. Star asked about the undercover secret moves, which I thought was good. That was a good question, but I mean, I don't think they answered it. Mitch talked about real relationships. Mary, who I thought would have had a good question. What do you think is the jury's perception of you? I thought that one was okay, but still, it's not hard hitting. It's like, what did you do? What was your strategy? I think the only strategy they talked about was voting out Shaheen. That was funny, actually. When Eva and Joe talk about their biggest strategy was voting out Shaheen because he had an idol.
That was a aha moment for some people, that's for sure.
That was like my favorite. And I did like how Camilla looked at Kyle, said, I got you. And she goes, Kyle, would you like to speak to that? And that's where we find out that Kyle did it. Then we
that was
also
a good moment. I think that's the moment that he won.
I think that won it. I agree. That won it for him. David, we find out his frowning and miserable face has been fake the whole time. So I guess well done on your acting skills, David. And because then he asks God, and then he asks about like, how did winning challenges move you forward or something, like something about move your game forward. It's like, I don't know, because I was immune.
Yeah, because I won, and yeah, nobody said he was smart.
No, he's not
Actually,
smart.
Camilla outright said he's stupid.
He's dumb as a rock. And it just even that question, like, who cares? Like, I don't know. Anyway, it seems obvious to me. So then the votes broke down to, who was it? Mary or Eva got 2, Joe got 1, and then Kyle got the other 5. The people who voted for Eva kind of surprised Mary and Star. That surprises me. I would have thought Mary would have voted for more of a strategist.
I mean, Star, I'm not that surprised by because she was always kind of
volatile.
Yeah, and she always kind of like, as soon as Eva told them about the autism thing, she was like totally on her side, right?
And gave her immunity idol and stuff like that.
Exactly, gave it to her.
I know, so weird.
But she didn't end up using. I mean, Star maybe regrets that. Who knows?
And then that's what Eva actually talked a bit about, how what her strategies were. Her, like, she didn't use her advantages. I'm like, would have been more exciting had she used some of the advantages, and but like they just, anyway. Cedric gave Joe a vote, and I guess that makes sense because Cedric's just, you never know, he's always been all over the place. And that's it. That's the finale. This is a pretty lackluster.
Cedric was the first one on the jury too, so he saw it all.
But he still
I don't know. I mean, I was surprised. I think Kyle's lawyer skills won it. That's about it. Like, he just talked better. I just think that one question won it for him. It was probably pretty even up until then. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, they said they would have voted Carm if she got voted. Like, if it was her, she would have won, right? In the aftermath thing. But it just, maybe they never were going to vote for Joe. I thought Joe was a shoo-in.
Win? I would agree with you, though, that big move was what won it for him. Like, getting Shaheen out, and as we can
shows backstabbing and strategic stuff wins, unlike because the opinion of the honest people, or whatever you want to call them.
They're wrong. I mean, listen, Joe's going to get a little bit, like, not a little bit, he's going to get a good chunk of change. Eva's going to get a good chunk of change, but ultimately they didn't win. I think arguably that means that, I think you're right, that shows that actually strategy wins, because the only one who had a bit of a strategy in the final 3 was Kyle.
Here's the question. Season 50 is coming up. We have another season before it.
Yeah.
Who from this season might go to season 50?
Say.
You think Say?
She's good TV. Maybe Camilla.
Yeah, I was going to say Camilla. I mean, maybe Kyle because he won.
So it depends on what they decide for 50, right? Like, are they going to do all winners? If it's all winners, Kyle has a chance. Or are they going to do everybody who made it to the end? You know what I mean? Like last, final 4, in which case Camilla. Or are they just going to do interesting TV? Because, as much as we kind of complained about her sometimes, Say was probably the most interesting TV we've had this whole season.
I mean, maybe they'll do winners versus not winners.
Yeah.
Which I think they've done before.
Well, they've done villains. I like what I would love to see is a redo of villains versus heroes. I would love to see that, because I think Say would get in as villain.
Yeah.
But then they'll bring Joe or something. But like, you know what would be interesting? Because this is the most interesting thing, is if like you saw these sort of honest, gosh darn it guys like, Joe and stuff go against, Russell, and go against really devious players. Because I'd like to see how quick they turn. because
They
they'd
should
have
just have
to.
all Devious than Joe.
I think Joe
He
would
would know
have
what
to
to do with
turn.
himself.
I think the problem with Joe this season isn't that he's like, listen, he's a stand-up guy. I appreciate what he did for Eva, but I don't think he would have been as sort of calm and Mr. Honest guy had he not won so many challenges. I think the winning of the challenges made him overconfident because anytime he didn't have that necklace around him, he got a little paranoid. I think that would have flipped for him if he wasn't winning so
Yeah,
much.
if you could up the pressure on him a little bit a couple times,
Yeah.
he might have went. He
He
might
might
have
have
went to
just
the dark
flipped.
side.
Well, and I actually think he bought into the lie about Shaheen way too quickly.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he
didn't about it.
he didn't ask him directly, I found that to be problematic.
Yeah, that was a big surprise. I thought he was gonna.
Shaheen
That's the only thing that would have messed up the whole plan. Like if he would have just asked.
All he had to do is straight up ask, "Do you have an idol?" I was told you have an idol by then it would have been at least a little interesting because then they would know Kyle and Camilla totally lied to him.
But then he didn't realize those two were working together, so he believed her. So I mean, that was the beautiful thing of the plan is using, and it was impressive that way. So I guess it was good that she didn't take him on reward because he was still tricked.
That's true. But anyway,
she didn't make it to the end. But
what's your score?
I don't know. I know what 10 or
I'm not like a 2.5.
Yeah, low.
It's low ball. It's a fail.
I like it 3-2.
Okay, Survivor. So that's it. I think that's all I have anyway. Really disappointing season. Like, and again, maybe this is the direction they're taking. Like, people are becoming nicer and kinder and gentler, but I mean, which is fine in the real world, by the way. I like, that's wonderful. Compassion, caring, all that good stuff. But that's not why I watch Survivor. But maybe it's a new audience. What do you think? Is it a new audience and we're just like, relics?
I don't think so because it's the only season they've done it. I don't know if they just don't know how humans are going to be, right? That's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about Survivor. It's like you just don't know how people are going to react. You don't know who's going to get through. I mean, they took out all the kind of schemers like almost before we got to the merge, and that's why it was more interesting before the merge, right? So I mean, they kind of weeded them out quick, and I think there's going to be a lot of schemers being a little sneakier with the way they talk to people, because as soon as you know they're a schemer, they get voted out in this season. That's not the way it's worked in every season, but I mean, the fact that what's his name was the first one on the jury, the teacher guy. I mean, you'd think he would have gone so early because he was so weak at challenges, but they kept him around for some reason. Like it was just like, well, I guess I like him. Like I don't know why they kept him around, right? He was not helpful to anybody he worked with or any tribe he was on. Mm-hmm. He was complete garbage at every single challenge. It was shocking how bad he was.
Yeah, he was bad because he looked pretty fit and he wasn't that old. Like I think he was in his 50s. So I mean, in my opinion, that's not that old.
He just couldn't figure it out a lot of the time. I guess he just doctors. I don't know. It was just interesting. Like like I said, it was more interesting before the merge, and which is really rare. I can't think of a season. Not that I remember them all because there's so many, but like I can't think of a season where it's more interesting.
It was only more interesting on that one tribe. Because when we watch like the Joe tribe and stuff, they were super boring. Like, we're best friends. We're going to watch a sunrise. And now we're going to watch a sunset. And we love each other. And the strong. Yay. I hope the lesson is for future contestants, get the strong out. Because they're the three from that original made it to the end. And they picked everybody off. You're going to get picked off. If you are not number one, like if it's not like a Joe-Eva connection, like even Kyle and Camilla, I respect for like saying to each other, I'm not going to win against you. I can't bring you. That's honest.
Well, I mean, what they need to do is a strategy should be splitting up couples. And that's normally what it is. But even Joe, they're just like, well, I can't vote for them.
Which is crazy.
Why?
Like it's absolutely.
I understand why. So I mean.
This was the most aggravating season to me ever.
Kyle made it. Kyle won. I mean, I got to hand it to him. I'm happy at least at that. He had to scheme a little bit to get there because he wasn't in the top 3 originally.
No, it was.
So he played a smart game.
He played a smart game.
It was just everybody was playing it so safe all the time.
Yes.
Which was a lot of people's demise. Oh, I can't go against Joe. What's going to happen if you go against Joe? You think he's going to come back and like slit your throat or something? He's just another dude. Why can't you go against Eva? Why can't you split these guys up? Why can't you vote out Shaheen or Kyle? Like nothing. There was never a plan. It was just like, oh, we're gonna. They actually lied. They say they're all big and honest, but they lied to so many people just to keep their votes, and those people just believed them. So really, they're just as conniving as anybody else. But
It's worse though for me because it's under the
Yeah,
auspice of being honest and loyal.
totally.
And one of the comments that kind of like sits with me still from this season was someone said like it's not out loyal. It's not like outwit
Exactly.
outplay out loyal. Like, you can out
I think
anyway.
Shaheem said that, and he
Yeah.
still didn't do
Well, because
anything.
I think Shaheen was ready to make a move. I really do believe that they just all waited too long, except for Kyle, because Kyle has been scheming throughout.
Uh-huh.
And ultimately he won. So he did make the right decision. Like he won. But everybody else, like, I don't know. I guess people just assume other people have the same values. We're an honest and true, but like no one called them out on not being honest. The only one actually who called anyone out was David called out Joe, and Joe lost his mind. He's like, "Well, you weren't honest. You said you're going to vote for so." I mean, David was being a complete a-hole, and I hated his guts at the time. But I mean, he's the only one who had the balls to say,
You're
like,
trying to
Joe,
shake
you
it up a little bit.
and Chrissy did try to shake it up at final, but then they all basically like, I don't know, they just all gather around or whatever. Anyway, we got through it. This one felt like an I got through it moment. 49, season 49. I hope you're better. I really do. I hope I just think it's better.
That's the thing. That's the key.
And you never know. And like you said, it is a social experiment. Like you never quite know how they're all going to interact. But like, I mean, I'm just like, just pick a lot of like wing nuts next time.
This
Pick a
season
lot
is
of.
proof that it's not pre-written.
You're right, because
If it was pre-written, it would have been way more interesting.
because there is no way that Jeff Probst wanted this. Like he
Nobody wants this.
well, Joe and Eva and Kyle.
Well,
Well,
I
not
mean,
even
just like
Kyle.
producers and people that
Yeah.
are in the business side of it, they don't want this.
Like, how are we gonna get through? Nick, I'm telling you, they better knock my socks off with season 49. That's all I'll
I think it'll be
say.
more.
I mean, I don't want to say this and jinx it, but it couldn't be worse.
I mean, the preview showed us nothing, so we don't know.
I know. I used to watch the preview, and it was just like, here's some B-roll shots of like, Fiji.
Yeah.
And a few people, it's the hardest challenge of my life with the music in the background. I was like,
generic bullshit.
Really generic. Anyway, overall, legit my least favorite season because never have before. Like, there's been seasons where it's like ho hum for sure, but this was just like we talked about this. When is it going to shift? When is someone going to make a move? Anyway,
it was like 7 episodes in a row of nothing.
I feel like almost relaxed now because we're through it. We made it. Do you have any other final thoughts?
September. No, I'm excited for the next one.
I'm looking forward to improvements. I'm excited for 50.
That's where some shit's gonna be cool because we're gonna see some old folks come back. Maybe they'll bring Richard back.
That would be hilarious. Bring a 60 whatever year old. That would be amazing.
He's the original. Way, he'd be that season's Rudy, who he teamed up with to win.
Didn't Rudy pass away? I think he passed away actually
last year. I think.
Rest in peace, Rudy. I'm excited just to see old players. That's what I'm excited about for 50. I know we're already talking 50 and 49. Please just bring us some interesting people that I can like love to hate, that I can find interest, that Nick and I have good conversations about for our recaps, and it gets us pumped. Because I don't even have like an emotional reaction like from the self-reality perspective either. It's not even like sure, I agree with being honest and loyal in life. I don't need to watch 7 episodes of that on a competition show.
Yeah, I watched the show to escape.
And to like sort of trigger things in me because of like the interactions, and the only things that triggered it were, I mean, David got bullyish, so that was bad. I think the best moment in terms of feelings was when Eva had that first episode. Wow, that was her and Joe. That was something else. Really moving. The Kyle Camilla, like there's a few things, but it's just ultimately friendship and loyalty and sticking to your word for interesting competition shows. That's my final thought.
Disney version of Survivor.
Yeah. So that's it. So everybody, thanks for hanging in there with us, for watching. Stay tuned. Nick and I will figure out something else to watch and like report out on. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and of course go on over to Kayfabe Wrestling Talk and Dirty Glass Podcast and watch them, like them, subscribe to them, and all the good things.
Speaking of reality shows, I have 2 Vanderpump Restaurant reviews dropping. I dropped one already. And I'm going to drop the cocktail bar. So we got the one from Paris. I'm going to drop the one from Caesar's Palace next week.
I was going to say, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, once a week. So just come check those out. They're very funny. I sing songs about Sean's pants. And he loves it so much. You can tell him the.
Well, I like the drinks. I forgot about how cool those drinks were that we got at Vanderpump
We got some cool ones
Paris.
at the cocktail place or at the.
We did. Well, that's why I'm excited, because you kind of forget, because it's, so it's Vanderpump Paris, everybody, and I'm a big Vanderpump fan. It was my birthday.
And Vanderpump Caesars.
Well, I'm so glad we went to the cocktail garden too.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Like, that was super cool. I think we got a free drink, and we probably had some more goat cheese balls and stuff like that. So,
yeah. Or balls or something. Anyway, check that out.
Anyway, go check it out. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and we will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.